Dear friends, I am beginning a new series on books reviews for it to make easy for you to choose books. Believe me, the longest it takes me to do anything is to zero in on a book to read. I hate quitting reading halfway and tossing the book to oblivion. So considering that there are most like me in the wide world, I personally deem it my duty to help similar souls. Mine is not a profit-making idea, just plain philanthropic. And one more thing before I start. I will not write on the books that invite negative reviews, for I strongly believe that if I don't enjoy something, it is not necessary that no one else wouldn't enjoy it. Let's begin on this journey. I'll keep posting videos from time to time. For it to be easy for you to be notified, please hit the bell icon. Also, subscribe, comment and share with your loved ones if you enjoy. I will be writing on recent book releases and posting review on whichever book strikes me. So here we go. Birnam Wood, Eleanor Catton's latest novel, is a gripping psychological thriller that explores contemporary issues such as anti-capitalism, techno-futurism, and domestic ennui. Set in modern-day New Zealand, the story follows Birnam Wood, a guerrilla gardening collective that plants crops wherever they can find space. When a landslide closes the Korowai Pass on the South Island and leaves a farm abandoned, Birnam sees an opportunity to occupy the land and finally achieve solvency. However, the enigmatic American billionaire Robert Lemoyne also has his eyes on the property, planning to build his end-times bunker there. Mira, the founder of Birnam, is caught on the property by Lemoyne, and they both become intrigued by each other's ideals and ideologies. As they navigate their differences and shared enemies, Birnam must also confront their blind spots, which lead them into sometimes criminal entanglements they can't reason their way out of. Catton is a master at weaving together competing philosophies and crafting deeply flawed but ultimately sympathetic characters. Birnam Wood is a multi-layered book that reads like a far-left anti-capitalist manifesto, a techno-futurist manual, and suburban ennui-driven domestic fiction all at once. But it is also a thriller that is subtly poking fun at the absolutism of those perspectives. Birnam Wood is a brilliantly constructed study of intentions, actions, and consequences. It is a mesmerizing, unflinching consideration of the human impulse to ensure our own survival. Like its influences, Shakespeare and Austen, the novel is fascinated by what makes us who we are. Catton's masterful writing will leave readers captivated until the very end.
Hold on to your gardening gloves, because Kashana Cawley's debut novel, The Survivalists, is an unexpected and wild ride that merges community gardening and doomsday prepping. Cawley's story takes place in central Brooklyn, and follows a group of diverse characters who come together to form a community amidst institutional failures and scarcity. From eccentric community gardeners to paranoid preppers, the characters are as diverse as the plants they tend to, and their interactions are full of humor and hilarity. As a former lawyer, Daily Show writer, and New York Times contributor, Cawley brings her unique perspective to the story, infusing it with sharp wit and biting humor. She skillfully finds humor in the hostile and uncertain present, while also creating vivid images of vastly different futures and how we might prepare for them. The Survivalists is a fresh and funny take on community, survival, and the absurdity of modern life. Cawley's writing is witty, sharp, and packed with laugh-out-loud moments that will keep readers turning the pages and snorting with laughter. So put on your gear and get ready for a wild ride through Brooklyn's quirkiest community garden, where doomsday prepping meets hipster culture in the most uproarious way possible. This book is not just a humorous romp, though. Beneath the surface, Cawley tackles serious topics such as gentrification, racism, and inequality, all while maintaining the comedic tone of the novel. The characters grapple with real-world issues while also navigating the absurdity of their circumstances. The community garden serves as a microcosm for society, highlighting the tensions and conflicts that exist in the world around us. As the characters prepare for the worst, they also learn to lean on each other and work together, showing that even in the face of disaster, community can bring people together. Overall, The Survivalists is a smart, witty, and enjoyable read that blends humor with social commentary. Cawley's writing is sharp and engaging, and her characters are memorable and unique. Whether you're a fan of satire, gardening, or just looking for a good laugh, this book is sure to satisfy.
Hang the Moon by Jeannette Walls is a captivating historical novel set in Virginia during the Prohibition era. The novel follows the life of Sally Kincaid, a determined young woman living in Virginia. Born into a life of privilege as the daughter of the town's biggest man, the Duke Kincaid, Sally is sent away by her stepmother after a daredevil coaching session with her younger brother Eddie goes awry. 9 years later, Sally returns to reclaim her place in the family and finds herself in a world of conflict and lawlessness. She discovers the secrets and scandals hidden in the shadows of the big house and navigates the factions in the family and town. Sally becomes a bold and sometimes reckless bootlegger as she comes into her own. Throughout the novel, Sally proves to be a feisty and fearless young woman who refuses to be corralled, and readers will fall in love with her. Walls' latest work is filled with larger-than-life characters, including bootleggers and conniving family members, making for an enthralling historical novel that readers will find hard to put down. Mary Beth Keene's The Half Moon is a tender and relatable novel about the challenges and joys of midlife. Malcolm Gephardt, a charming bar owner in suburban New York, is struggling to keep his business afloat while dealing with a rocky marriage to his successful lawyer wife, Jess. Keene's prose is vivid and realistic, evoking the domestic world of Ann Tyler and Elizabeth Strout. But it is her insights into the human heart that make this novel truly remarkable. The story unfolds over the course of a week when a patron of the Half Moon goes missing, a blizzard hits the town of Gilham, and Malcolm learns a shocking secret about Jess. The novel delves into the disappointments and unexpected consolations of midlife, exploring themes of forgiveness, intimacy, and family. Keene's characters are flawed and relatable, making it impossible not to root for them as they navigate their way through life's challenges. At its core, The Half Moon is a story about transformation and redemption. As Malcolm and Jess confront their demons, they learn to forgive each other and themselves, discovering new paths forward. Keene's writing is poignant and tender, capturing the complex emotions of midlife with astonishing delicacy. The Half Moon is a beautiful and satisfying novel that will leave readers with a sense of hope and renewal. Bret Easton Ellis's The Shards is a mesmerizing and haunting novel that takes readers back to the early 1980s Los Angeles, a time and place that was both vibrant and dangerous. The story follows 17-year-old Bret, a senior at the exclusive Buckley Prep School, who becomes increasingly obsessed with a new student, Robert Mallory, who seems to be hiding a dark secret. At the same time, a serial killer nicknamed the Trawler is on the loose, targeting teenagers throughout the city. Ellis's prose is hypnotic and prodigious, immersing readers in Bret's world of vacant privilege and buried longing. The author's gothic predilections are not for the faint of heart, as the Trawler's kills are grotesque and unsettling. However, the evocation of this world is masterful, and Ellis holds nothing back in his relentless cataloging of mood-specific song and movie titles. One of the most fascinating aspects of The Shards is its metafictional quality. Bret is writing a novel called Less Than Zero, which was Ellis's first novel, and the parallels between the two narratives are striking. The Shards is a story about the end of innocence, and the perilous passage from adolescence into adulthood, and Ellis explores these themes with his trademark insight and wit. Overall, The Shards is a gripping, sly, and suspenseful novel that showcases Ellis at his inimitable best. The book is not for everyone, as the gothic elements may be too much for some readers, but for those who enjoy immersive and unsettling storytelling, The Shards is a must-read. Dennis Lehane has long been preoccupied with Boston's troubled racial history, a theme that runs through his body of work. In his latest novel, Small Mercies, Lehane delivers a devastating portrayal of Boston's working-class communities during the busing crisis of 1974. The story centers around Mary Pat Fennessy, a middle-aged woman haunted by the loss of her son to heroin addiction and now faced with the disappearance of her daughter. As she delves into the mystery of her daughter's whereabouts, Mary Pat's journey takes her from the seedy corners of the neighborhood to the halls of Harvard Square, appending her understanding of Southey and forcing her to confront her own prejudices and the toxic forces at play around her. With characteristic ferocity, Lehane weaves a gripping crime novel that captures the complex mix of pride and shame that characterizes working-class Boston. His portrayal of Mary Pat is nuanced and compassionate, as she grapples with the painful realities of her life and her community. Through her eyes, readers are drawn into the simmering tensions of Southey, where racial divides run deep and violence is always close at hand. Small Mercies is a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. Maddie has been taking care of her father, who has Parkinson's, while her mother is mostly in Ghana and her brother chases his dreams. She feels trapped in her responsibilities and wants to reinvent herself by going out more, dating, and experiencing life. However, tragedy strikes while she's on this quest for self-discovery, and she's forced to navigate a world that's completely different from the one she imagined. Jessica George's Mame explores themes of familial duty, racism, female pleasure, the complexity of love, and the life-saving power of friendship with humor and poignancy. It celebrates the struggle of being torn between two homes and cultures and finding where you belong. Maddie's life in London is far from fulfilling, with a boss who is a nightmare and being the only black person in every meeting. George's writing is smart, funny, and deeply affecting, with a page-turning plot and characters that readers will root for. Dr. Peter Attia's book, OUTLIVE, provides a strategic and scientific approach to extend lifespan while improving physical, cognitive, and emotional health. Mainstream medicine has failed to combat age-related diseases such as heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, and type 2 diabetes, with treatments often intervening too late to be effective. Dr. Attia suggests a proactive and personalized strategy for longevity to replace this outdated framework. OUTLIVE offers practical advice and a roadmap for optimizing exercise, sleep, and emotional and mental health. Dr. Attia aims to teach readers how to think about long-term health and create the best plan for each individual, rather than telling them what to do. The book covers topics such as the limitations of the annual physical cholesterol test, underdiagnosed liver conditions, the importance of exercise for longevity, personalized eating patterns based on nutritional biochemistry, and the significance of emotional health. Aging and longevity are not predetermined, and Dr. Attia believes that with the right roadmap, readers can plot a different path for their lives, outliving their genes and making each decade better than the one before. OUTLIVE provides a well-founded approach to extending lifespan while improving healthspan and quality of life. In his latest book, acclaimed author David Grann delivers a thrilling account of survival, mutiny, and a court-martial that uncovers a startling truth. The Wager, a ramshackle ship bound for a secret mission during an imperial war with Spain, wrecked on a desolate island off the coast of Patagonia. After months of marooning and starvation, 30 emaciated men managed to build a flimsy craft and sail for more than 100 days, traversing 2,500 miles of storm-racked seas. They were hailed as heroes upon landing in Brazil, but 6 months later, a group of 3 castaways landed in Chile with a different story. The 30 sailors who landed in Brazil were mutineers. Grann masterfully recreates the hidden world on a British warship, portraying the castaways' desperate situation with the same level of intensity found in the classics of survival writing such as The Endurance. The stakes were life and death, for whomever the court-martial found guilty could hang. With the twists and turns of a thriller, Grann skillfully unravels the deeper meaning of the events on the Wager, revealing that it was not only the captain and crew who ended up on trial, but the very idea of empire. This is a grand tale of human behavior at the extremes, told by one of our greatest non-fiction writers, whose incredible narrative twists will keep readers spellbound. Tenacious Beasts, written by Christopher J. Preston, is a fascinating study of animal populations that have made a comeback despite the mass extinction currently taking place. Through a combination of thoughtful environmental practices and animals' natural capacities, some species, such as wolves in Central Europe, beavers in the Potomac, and whales in the Gulf of Alaska, have staged dramatic recoveries. Preston focuses on wildlife scientists and indigenous activists to argue that these ecological restorations demonstrate that the flourishing of other species is integral to our shared future. In his crisp and transporting prose, Preston weaves together personal stories from researchers, indigenous people, and activists who have witnessed these animals' comebacks firsthand. The book's various sections, such as farms, prairies, rivers, forests, and oceans, offer a philosophical shift in how humans should think about animals, passionately advocating for the attitude changes necessary for wildlife recovery. Tenacious Beasts is a quintessential nature book for the Anthropocene, touching on different aspects of ecological restoration, from indigenous knowledge to rewilding practices. It provides a roadmap and a glimmer of hope for a future where humans and animals can once again coexist. In short, Preston's book is a captivating read that sheds light on how nature can heal itself, provided that we work to ensure its survival.